Hello everyone, I'm Moriah and I'm going to go through a short presentation about the types of supplements for treating anemia. And these include iron, vitamin B12, and folate. There are several nutrients that help treat different anemias. Iron is supplemented for iron deficient anemia, and there are two forms of dietary iron, which are heme and non-heme iron. Heme iron is found both in meat and plant foods, while non-heme iron is just in plant foods. Consuming foods high in iron can help treat anemia. However, iron can also be taken orally in the form of ferrous sulfate and ferrous gluconate, which are ferrous salts. Ferrous salts can be taken also parenterally or through, for example, an IV. Other supplements for anemia include vitamin B12 and folate, which are used to treat anemias with B vitamin deficiencies or megaloblastic anemias. You probably heard that or learned that B12 comes from animal food sources like meat and dairy, but they can also be provided in supplements or medications in the form of cyanocobalamin and hydroxycobalamin. They're given parenterally, such as an injection, or even come in nasal sprays. Folate is important for a lot of coenzyme reactions, and they can be found in a lot of different foods, but they can also be supplemented through vitamin supplements such as prenatal vitamins. I will go over the mechanism of action for these supplements, but first I wanted to quickly go over iron metabolism just so we understand how it is metabolized, how the supplements are metabolized. So when iron is consumed, it is imported into the enterocyte in the duodenum and jejunum, and the different forms of iron are brought in by different transporters. And once they enter the enterocyte, they need to be exported by a protein to go out in the bloodstream. When iron leaves the enterocyte, the ferrous form, Fe2+, needs to be converted to its ferric form, Fe3+, by ferrooxidases to bind to transferrin, which is the main transporter in the bloodstream. And when iron is in the plasma, it can be picked up to carry oxygen. Now on to the mechanism of action. The way that iron supplements go through iron metabolism can differ in the transporter that it binds to. When iron is consumed, it goes through the GI tract and enters the enterocyte, as we learned in the last slide. Ferrous gluconate actually binds to apoferritin to form ferritin, and ferritin is stored in places like the liver and intestinal mucosa and red bone marrow and spleen for later use. So iron from ferrous gluconate is stored for later use. Ferrous sulfate actually binds with transferrin, which is the main transporter of iron in the bloodstream, so it can go into the bloodstream and actually be picked up by hemoglobin. Folate is a coenzyme for many reactions that include DNA and RNA synthesis. When it is consumed in the body, it is diffused in the intestinal mucosa and goes through conversions to monoglutamate, then tetrahydrofolate, or THF. THF is then lastly converted to the methyl or formyl form, and it is brought in the bloodstream. The methyl form of folate helps to have the proper amount of blood cells because they help with red blood cell production. In terms of the effectiveness of these supplements. Ferrous gluconate and ferrous sulfate, the iron supplements, are actually more absorbable than the dietary iron, which allows oxygen to be better transported into the bloodstream. And as for the B vitamin supplements and folate supplements, the cyanocobalamin and hydroxocobalamin, and even the folic acid are said to be effective in administering and also treating B vitamin deficient anemias. In terms of side effects, there are a few side effects to anemia supplements. For example, for the iron supplements, they can cause dental stains, indigestion, constipation, diarrhea, bloating, nausea, vomiting, and dark stools. Hydroxocobalamin can cause mild, short-lasting diarrhea, and cyanocobalamin, the injection form, can cause diarrhea and the feeling of your whole body being swollen. So it's important to know that these, most of these can cause GI distress. As you can see on the comics, they show that your GI tract can be put under a lot of pressure. And as for nutritional status effects, there aren't many to be concerned about. However, ferric salts can potentially cause anorexia and a decrease in zinc levels. So it's important to get enough zinc as well when taking these ferrous salt supplements. And again, diarrhea and generally upset GI tract are common throughout all anemia treatments. So it's important that you stay hydrated.